All right, we're gonna start with concealer, which is up here. All right, we'll start with an easy one. This is the NYX, bear with me, Serum Concealer. This is the shade Vanilla. This has been my favorite concealer since I tried it from the drugstore by far. Nothing has ever topped it. I do have one other one that's a recent find that I do really like, but this one is still my absolute favorite. I love it under my eyes. I love it all over my face, just as like a tinted moisturizer. It's hydrating, it's thin, it's lightweight. I love it. I think I have no notes on this one. I think it's fantastic. So that one is an easy keep. The other one that I was just kind of mentioning is this one from Flower Beauty. This is the Get Real Serum Concealer in the shade Light. This I also really like. This is the only drugstore concealer that's ever kind of rivaled the NYX one. I still ultimately would choose NYX over this one, but they are very similar. The formulas definitely remind me of each other. This one, the flower one, is a little bit, I would say just a lighter coverage. Hydrating, serumy texture, but neither of them crease really badly, which is interesting and one of the reasons I really like them. A lot of times serum textures do kind of want to crease just because of that particular type of texture, but these I don't notice that with. So love both of them and definitely will be keeping. One I am not a huge fan of is this one from Joa. This is the Eye Serum Concealer. I got this probably, I don't know, 6 months ago or so because I kept seeing it on TikTok, of course, and people are just raving about it. You have to get this brand, I think, at CVS. I don't think you can buy it anywhere else. But this concealer gives little to no coverage. It's basically like a large version of the Maybelline Age Rewind. The color is actually good for me. This is shade Light Medium. But it just doesn't do a whole lot. Every time I use it, I feel like I've honestly not used much of anything at all. So it's just not something that really works for me and what I like under my eyes. The coverage is just not there. So that one is going to be one that I declutter. Then we have the Neutrogena Radiant Cream Concealer in the shade Bisque. So this one is actually really good. I need to pull this out and use it a bit more. This one is very thin, lightweight, but it gives decent coverage. I would say like a light medium again. This is not, I wouldn't call it a super radiant concealer, so I don't really agree with the name. And I also hear people saying that this is a dupe for the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I do not agree with that at all. This one is just a totally different texture. This one is much thinner and the NARS is a bit more, it's more of a cream. It's a liquid, but it's a thicker creamy liquid. I don't know. I'm probably not explaining it well, but I do not agree that they are dupes at all, but I do like this one, so I will be keeping it. Then we have the classic Maybelline Age Rewind. This one is the shade 121, which I think, I could be wrong, but I think this is one of their newer shades. I know they, in the last year or two, kind of expanded the shade range. This one is a pretty good match for me, 121. It's a little bit on the peachy side. This is not like a holy grail for me like it is for a lot of people, but I do enjoy it and I will definitely be keeping it. Then we have the Revolution IRL Filter Finish Soft Matte Concealer. I have the shade C5. This one is just okay. I definitely don't like hate it or dislike it or anything like that, but it's not one that I like want to use all the time. You know what I mean? It's just kind of okay. But it's newer to me and the color on this is pretty good. This is shade C5. Again, it's a little bit, I would say pretty neutral. Not super warm, not super cool, but I do like it. This one gives pretty good coverage. It is, I would agree, a soft matte finish. So this is one you don't really need to set with powder. It kind of sets itself. I like it okay. It's new. I want to keep testing it, so I will be keeping it. Then we have the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This one is the shade Light Peach. Okay, I've bought this concealer many times. I usually end up decluttering it, but then I end up buying it again. And I'm not sure why. I think it's because it's one that sometimes I use it and I really like it, and then other times I use it and I don't like it at all. It's just kind of one of those. The color is good for me. Like I said, this is light peach. This one is relatively new. I haven't had it a super long time. And I like to keep drugstore concealers that I don't totally dislike, just to have them so I can use in videos. This one's okay. I definitely prefer the hydrating version over the regular version. The regular version is way too dry for me. The hydrating version, though, is not bad. So I am going to keep e.l.f. Then, again from e.l.f., we have the Flawless Brightening Concealer. Now, these are, I would call these just brighteners. I don't really see these as concealers. I know they are called brightening concealers. I think they're just brighteners with just a little bit of color. The way I would probably use it is over a corrector, maybe, is like just to add a little bit of a brightness under the eyes. I wouldn't look at these to get coverage. That one I just swatched is shade Light 23C, so it's a little bit more of a pinky undertone. That one I will definitely keep. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this one though. This one's a little bit more on the neutral side, almost a little bit warm leaning. So that one is Light 26N. So you can see there's a pretty big difference there. Nah, we'll keep it. We'll keep it. I don't dislike these. It's just not something I reach for all the time. All right, then we have L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour full wear concealer. Okay, you guys, this is another one. I have tried this numerous times. I hear people saying they love this all the time. I do not think this is flattering at all. It looks dry, it looks heavy. It also kind of sits right in any fine lines that I have pretty quickly. But I think people really like this concealer, but unfortunately I am not one of them. This is shade 345 Oatmeal. The shade is not terrible, but every time, actually it's a little bit light now that I look at it. Every time I use this, I don't like how my under eyes look every single time. So sadly, that one is going to be a pass for me. I'm going to go ahead and declutter it. And then lastly in here is the Catrice True Skin High Coverage Concealer. I actually have two of these. One of them is over at my doming task, but this is number 15, Warm Vanilla. This is definitely going to go. It's a terrible color. It is straight up orangey yellow. I don't know. I actually wear this shade in the foundation and it's not this orangey looking. So I don't know why this one is. Honestly, I would love to love this concealer, but I also think the shade range on this could definitely be better. I have not been able to find a great shade for me, but that one is definitely not it. So that is definitely going to go. And that is it for drugstore concealer. All right, moving right along, we will do these real quickly. These will be really fast. So this is the new Tom Ford Traceless Matte Concealer in the shade Ecru. This is an absolutely 110% keep. I have been kind of obsessed with this, honestly, since I got it. It is a fantastic shade match for me. It looks great under my eyes. It looks great on my face to spot conceal any areas where I like to add a little bit more coverage. It is expensive, but this is one that I think is 100% worth it. I absolutely love it. So that one is an easy keep. Then we have Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector or Skin Concealer Stick. So this is the concealer version of the corrector that you see me use all the time. The one I have in this is the shade Sand. It looks like that. This is also a keep. I really like this formula. This is one I need to pull out and use more. I don't know why I don't, because this is a really nice cream formula from Bobbi Brown. If you like the corrector in the stick, you will most likely really like the stick concealer. So that one is also a keep. And then, do I even need to say anything about these? These, I could talk about these for this entire video, to be honest. That's how deeply I love these from NARS. I have two of them. I have this one, which is Custard. Custard, I usually only wear in the summertime or when I have a good bit of like a self-tan on, because it's more of a medium shade, but I will never be quiet about these concealers. So that is the shade Custard. That one, I believe, is just medium with neutral undertones, and the one I use the most is this one, which is Madeleine, and I think these are fantastic. I have nothing bad to say. I love this as everything. Honestly, I like it as a spot concealer. If you have any blemishes and you do not have this concealer in your life, this is one I would say save your money and buy it. You will not regret it. You will love it, especially if you like to use something over blemishes quite frequently. This is amazing for that. It is also really nice just to spot conceal your face. Not even use a foundation, just use this in areas where you need it with a glowy primer underneath. Oh my gosh. Back here, I do have this Bare Minerals concealer in the shade Summer Bisque. Now this is one, I have not used this, you guys, in, I mean, it's probably been a year since I've used it. This is a very interesting product. So I feel like Bare Minerals was kind of known for this for a while. It's just a powdered concealer, and I know it sounds weird, but actually it can be very pretty under your eyes. It's a powder, but it's not a powder like you would think of like a setting powder. It's actually like Bare Minerals' other powders. They are powder that turns into a cream when you apply them on the skin, but I don't use it, you know? This is shade Summer Bisque, by the way, but I can't get rid of this. I can't get rid of this. I need to use this more and experiment with it a bit more. I kind of forget about it, to be honest, but we're gonna keep that. I have some more concealers back here that you can't really see, so we'll do these next. So we have Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. This is shade 4.75. This is actually pretty new to me. I've had it in the past, but I bought it again recently because I saw one of my favorite makeup artists using it and loving it, and I like this shade much, much more for me. This is 4.75. It's a great shade match for me. You can't even really see it on my hand, honestly. Not a ton of coverage, but it does give you a little bit. It's more than like a brightener. It's just not a ton of coverage, but it's pretty under the eyes. Definitely very glowy. If you're not into that, you probably wouldn't like this one, but I will be keeping it. Oh gosh, okay. Say Hydra Beam, is that right? Concealer, all right. This is one I go back and forth on. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. I can't even really tell you why I do or don't like it. Sometimes I wear it and it looks great under my eyes. Then sometimes I put it on and I don't like it at all. It's very peachy, which that is actually a good thing for me. You know, it kind of helps with darkness if you have that issue, but it's more of like I think they even describe this as a skincare concealer. So it feels kind of like an eye cream under the eyes with a little bit of pigment in it. It's pretty new to me. I'm not at the point where I want to get rid of it. We're going to keep it. Not a favorite, but I am going to keep it. You guys, concealers are one of my favorite things. So getting rid of concealer is hard for me, but let's keep going. So we have this one. This is the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer. This is the shade Bone WN number 4. This I like, okay, but and like right there, it doesn't look too bad. Every time I use this, it looks too yellow. And the reason I bought this shade is because I have used one of the Clinique like skin tint type products before. It was the, I think it's discontinued now, but it was the All Over Glow. It was like a tinted moisturizer. I don't even think they make it anymore, but I wore that product in Bone, and that's why I got this product in Bone. Well, this is a different color than Bone in that product. I wanna love it, but I know if the color is wrong, I will not do it. I won't do it. So we're gonna get rid of it. I'm sad to say, but I am gonna get rid of that. I may end up buying that one again, to be honest. Clinique's color range I find to be really difficult. I find their colors either are extremely yellow or extremely pink. There doesn't seem to be much in the middle, but anyway, I may end up trying it again. Ooh, okay, let's do one that I actually really like, the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Cream Concealer. Okay, this is shade number 4. So I've mentioned this a few times before, but this is actually a concealer that I did not love to begin with. And then I kind of put it away for a few months, brought it back out, and magically just started absolutely loving it. And the only thing I can really think that made a difference, see how much of a different undertone that is than that Clinique? Like, that is just off compared to that. But anyway, I stopped using powder with this concealer from Charlotte Tilbury. All of a sudden I started loving it. So this is kind of one of those formulas, for whatever reason, I personally think it does better with no powder. So that's how I've been wearing it, and ever since then I've been loving it. So that one is a keep. Moving right along. Ooh, okay, the Kosas concealer. This is shade 2.5C. All right, this one is gonna go, not because I don't like it, but it smells weird, first of all. It's definitely nearing the end, if not past the end of its life for sure. And this is, like I said, shade 2.5. This is the best shade for me in their concealer range. It's actually a pretty good one. It took me quite a while to figure this out, but yeah, this shade is pretty good. This concealer, like a lot of people say though, goes bad really quick. And look, mine, the cap has totally broken, like split all the way up, which is very annoying. In fact, it wasn't cracked that much, and I think I just cracked it all the way just now when I unscrewed it. But this is a good concealer. I do wish it lasted a little bit longer. I know that's kind of a thing with some of these cleaner brands. Their products don't last as long, which is sad, but yeah, this one's gonna have to go. I will probably repurchase that one though. This one, the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer. So this is actually a great concealer, but this one also kind of smells funny. That is it there. This is the shade Suma. Yeah, so the packaging actually on this Ilia concealer doesn't even look like this anymore. It's totally different now. That's how old this is. I would say this is pretty similar actually to the Kosas concealer. I would say Kosas maybe gives just a little bit more coverage, but not by much. Time for it to go, sadly, but this is very good. I would, at some point, possibly repurchase this. If you like the Kosas concealer, you would probably like this one too. All right, just 2 more back here. This is the Pure Push-Up 4-in-1 Sculpting Concealer. I love the packaging on this, I have to say. It has this little button on it that you press and it pops out like that. Okay, so this is shade LN6. This also is kind of similar to the Ilia concealer, I would say, in consistency. This one gives just a little bit more coverage. I actually really like this one. I kind of forget about it because it's stuck in the back of my drawer. It's older, but this one, I don't notice a weird smell or anything. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, so I'm gonna keep that one. I feel like no one talks about that concealer anymore. No one talks about Pure in general, I feel like. All right, and then, oh, good old Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Brightening Concealer. You guys, I want to like this so bad. Bare Minerals always has a special place in my heart just because it was the first makeup brand that I used years and years and years ago, long before I was even really that into makeup. This one is, to me, it's just a little mini version of the Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer, which I also don't really like. I don't know, just something about this I just don't love. Every time I use it, to be honest, I've wiped my makeup off and start it over because I just didn't like it. If the concealer is wrong, that's just not a good day for me. I need the concealer and the corrector to be right. I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of on the thick side. It has SPF in it, SPF 25, which is nice. This is the shade Cashew. Again, not a perfect match for me. I mean, it looks all right there, kind of blended in, but I don't know. Every time I use this, I don't like it. I don't like it. I know if I keep it, I'm not going to use it. So that one is going to go. This is brand new to me. This is the new Tarte Shape Tape Radiant Concealer. This is the shade 22N. I'm definitely going to keep this. Still in the process of testing this. I've used it a few times. I definitely didn't love it right away. It's okay. That shade 22N there. Much, much, much less coverage than the original Shape Tape, which is what you would expect. And it is pretty glowy, but I have been enjoying it. I'm not obsessed with it, but I do definitely want to keep it. The Urban Decay Quickie Concealer, this is shade 30NN. So this is one of those that I actually really like all over my face. So I like it under my eyes and on my face just for coverage. This shade is also pretty good for me. This is a good bit of coverage though. I would say like medium to full for sure. I really like it. If you don't like full coverage though, I would say definitely skip this one. This is pretty full on in terms of the coverage. So I will be keeping it. The Givenchy Prisme Libre Skin Caring Concealer. So this is also new to me. This is one of my Sephora sale purchases. I mentioned it in my latest Sephora haul update video. This is okay for me. It's not a favorite. I wish it had just a little bit more coverage. It kind of reminds me of Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. Not as glowy, but it kind of reminds me of that one. The color I love is C180, which is there. You can't even hardly see it on my hand because it's a really good match, but I just wish this had more coverage, but it's new. I definitely want to keep it. Next is this one. This is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer in the shade 215. I just used this actually for the first time 2 days ago when I did my sip and makeup video for this week. And I loved this concealer. I'm shocked because I'm almost positive I tried this years ago and I didn't like it. I bought it again because I saw, I forget who it was, somebody I love was using it. So I bought it again and I absolutely loved this yesterday. I would say it's like a solid medium coverage, no more. I really like this. I can't wait to keep using it. So that one is an easy keep. The Valentino concealer. Okay, this was also a pretty recent purchase from me. This is shade LN2. I talked about this in my Sephora update as well. This one I'm not a huge fan of, sadly. This is also a case of, first of all, it's a little bit too light, which is not my favorite thing for under my eyes. This one also gives very, very little coverage, similar to Armani Luminous Silk coverage level, but this one definitely doesn't look as good under my eyes as the Armani one does. The Armani is also a better shade for me. But this is brand new. I've definitely missed the return window at this point for this one, so I'm going to keep it because it's new, and I will maybe try mixing it with something else that I like. That would probably help. Next, we have Huda Beauty Faux Filter Luminous Matte Concealer. These are definitely keeps. I actually have two of them. I have a darker one and a lighter one. This is another concealer I actually like to use on my face just to like spot conceal. This formula is really nice for that. So this one is shade Sugar Biscuit 3.5N. It's a little bit dark unless I have self-tan on, but if I do, it works. And then this is the one I use the most, which is Coconut Flakes. This is a great concealer, great coverage, does not look cakey. Like I said, it's beautiful under the eyes and on your face as like a complexion product. This is a really nice one. I definitely want to keep those. All right, then we have this. This is the one size, I think it's called the Butter Silk concealer. This is shade light number 3. Okay, when this concealer came out, I loved this, and I still think it's a great concealer. I'm finding for some reason, this one, I want to say when I got it was not this yellow, but this one, every time I use it now, is just too yellow. It's just way too yellow. And this is a neutral shade. Very, very yellow though, so I am going to get rid of this. I might rebuy it though at some point in a different shade. Great coverage on this though. Another one that's really nice all over your face. But I just don't love this color, and I'm trying to make sure I don't keep the ones where the color is off, like really, really off, because I won't use it. Another one, this one I really like. This will be staying. This is the Milk Future Fluid All Over Concealer. This is another one that's great all over your face, and I think that's actually what they designed this for. This is shade 7NW, I think. This I really like. All over my face. A lot of coverage. And this one wears really well on me also. I like to use this with like a glowier primer underneath and just use this as foundation and concealer. This is a nice one. Definitely want to keep it. Who remembers when this Hourglass concealer was like my everything? I still love this concealer. I have 2 of them now. So I have Cedar and Silk. So Cedar was the one I had originally, and this, you guys, this is such a good match for my natural skin tone. It's crazy, but I know this one in Cedar is old, and I know I need to get rid of it, but you can see I really have used this a ton. It pains me because I love this. Like, the coverage is amazing. The shade match is amazing. But honestly, this one smells. It smells, you guys. I gotta get rid of it. Gotta get rid of it, but I love it. This one is Silk. This one is a little bit lighter than that one, and it's a little more pinky, I would say. So under my eyes, this is a good shade. I don't know that I would use it all over my face, but this one is actually pretty new. So I am gonna keep it. But I really want to buy Cedar again. Then we have Dior Backstage Concealer in the shade 2N. I really like this one. This was like an absolute favorite for me when it first came out. This one is a very thin formula. Not super full coverage, I would say like medium at the very, very most. So I would say this one's more of like a natural finish concealer. It's not super matte, it's not super dewy, it's just kind of right in between, but it's a nice one. I enjoy it every time I do use it, and the shade is very good, so we'll be keeping it. Then, okay, let's talk about these. The Rare Beauty concealer. Okay, I bought these for my Rare Beauty video that I did a few months ago. The Rare Beauty concealers, I find the shade range is just so hard. They jump from really, really fair to pretty deep. I feel like they missed the light skin tone range. They got fair, they got medium, but it's like they kind of missed the light shades. So like this one, look how light that is. This one is shade 130N. This is one, I like the formula. It just, you'd have to mix it with something. So that is shade 130N, which is super light. And then I also have shade 140C, which is also super light. I mean, look at that. And I think they describe these as light shades, but that's fair. That's not light. All right, we're gonna put these way over here as a maybe because I'm torn on those. All right, these are easy. NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, Madeleine, and Creme Brulee. Creme Brulee is more pink, Madeleine is more neutral. I really like Creme Brulee under my eyes because of the pinky undertone, and then Madeleine's a really good shade for my actual face skin tone. Madeleine's the same shade I use in the soft matte version. So those, you see me use those all the time. the Bobbi Brown Skin Full Cover Concealer. This I actually like. This is shade Cool Ivory. And this is pretty new to me, actually. I got this for something I was doing on Instagram. But this color is decent. Pretty good coverage. I wouldn't say this is full coverage, even though they do call it that. I would say it's more medium. Pretty matte when it dries down. So I do have to prep my under eyes really well with this one, but it does wear well. It's a very long wearing concealer, and I do enjoy it when I use it. So I will be keeping it. And then lastly, we have two of the Sephora Best Skin Ever concealers. This one is shade 17.5 Neutral. This is a good concealer too, actually. That is it there. I feel like this color is not great for me though. Arm right here is not a great place to test because the side of my arm gets no sun at all, but this is a great concealer. Gives a lot of coverage. I will say I don't know that I've ever found like a perfect shade match in it. Like 17.5 is pretty good, and then I ended up buying this one time because I wanted to try it as Corrector. This is 17.5p. I need to use this again as Corrector. I can't remember what I thought of it, but that's why I bought this one. So I'm definitely going to keep 17.5p and use it that way. I might declutter this and maybe get a different shade. I don't know about that shade. Yeah, I like this though. It's a good one if you want. This is another one that's good all over your face and under your eyes. And that is it for concealer, you guys. The rest of these are correctors, which we'll do in a minute, but that is it for concealer. Moving on to my correctors. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each one and swatch them because I'm going to do an updated, dedicated correctors video very, very soon. It's time for me to do that. I haven't done one in years. So we're going to do that, but we'll go through these quickly. I'm probably not going to get rid of many of these because I use them for comparison and just to have on hand because a lot of people ask me about correctors. Let's go ahead and go through them quickly. I have two of the Natasha Denona correctors. I have C1 and C2. I did a review on these when they came out. You may have seen. I love them both though, and absolutely will keep them. Another obvious keep, Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick in Bisque. You see me use this one all the time. I talk about it all the time. One of my favorites in my collection. Love it so much. Keep Neutrogena Color Correcting Concealer in Peach. This is another one I really like. It's very affordable. It's not a super full coverage. It's pretty lightweight and liquidy, but it does a really great job. It's a great color for me. And I like it, especially since it's more affordable. I like to have affordable options to share. So that is a keep. Clinique, Even Better Color Corrector in Peach. This one is pretty good. It's definitely not my favorite. But the peach on this is a good peach. It's not too orange. If you watch my videos a lot, I like a corrector that has some pink in it. It's not super, super orange, and this is one of those colors. So I will be keeping it. I would say it's pretty comparable to the Neutrogena corrector I just showed you. I will be keeping it. Then I have the Exa High Fidelity correctors. I have peach and pink. This is another definite keep for me. This formula is really good. It gives great coverage, and this is a perfect peachy color. So that one is it there. I also have the shade Pink, which is super light. I use that mainly for like brightening sometimes, but those are definite keeps. I have the Sigma Color Correcting Duo. I love this. This is the light medium shade. I use this all the time. This one is very emollient. It's a little bit A little bit of a pearly finish under your eyes, but like in a pretty way, not in like a glittery way. Just very light, very hydrating. I like that you get 2 colors in here. Definite keep. You're just going through my absolute favorites first. The Pixie color corrector, absolutely love. This has been a recent like top favorite corrector for me. So that one is a definite keep. Tarte CC Clay Under Eye Corrector. This one is pretty good. I like it. Okay, it's not a favorite though. I used to actually love this years ago before I started YouTube. It's pretty good. I like the formula okay. It's just a little bit lighter than what I like. So there's that one and there's those other 2. So see how much lighter this one is than those. So I find sometimes with formulas like that, they're too light to help with my darkness personally, but I like it okay and I like it for comparisons, so we'll keep it. Then we have Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish in medium, another really great one. Gives great coverage, pretty hydrating. It's a good color. I use shade medium in that one, so that is a keep. Bobbi Brown, the original. This is always in my collection in shade Bisque. It's so good. One of my favorites. Definite keep. Then we have the Flower Beauty one in light peach. This one's pretty good. Again, it's not like my absolute favorite. It's a little bit lighter than what I typically like, but it works okay. This one's a bit of a drier cream formula, but it applies well and it works. It's just not like my absolute favorite, but I do want to keep it. This one I will get rid of. This is the Collab No Flaws Liquid Color Corrector. So this one you used to be able to get at Sally's, but now it's like impossible to find this corrector. You can't find it online. I've been back to the Sally's that I got this from and they don't have it anymore. So I'm not sure if it's been discontinued or what. It's decent, but pretty comparable, I would say, to the Neutrogena color corrector. So I don't really need this one also. So that one I am going to declutter. Then we have this one from Makeup Revolution. Kind of similar, I would say, to that Tarte one. Yeah, this one is super light. Like, it's almost pink. Yeah, it is pink, actually. I don't know if you can even tell on camera. But the formula on this is kind of similar, I would say, to like the Sigma corrector. It's more of that emollient kind of pearly finish. This is just not a color that I typically use, but I know I like to have it just to show. All right, then I have 3 of the Tarte Shape Tape color correctors. I also did a dedicated video on these. So we have pink, peach, and green. I use the peach one the most, although this is one that I would say can definitely lean a bit orangey. I wish it had just a little bit more pink in it, but it's not terrible. It's just not like a perfect shade for me, but I will keep that for sure. And then I also have the pink one, which is here, which is, I mean, it is super light, like super light. I could never use this on its own. I could mix it with the peach. This is almost like white out. It's so light. So anyway, I will keep it, but I don't use it often. And then this green is nice. I, again, don't always use green color correctors, but this one is good. You need very little though, like very little. It's extremely pigmented, but I will be keeping it. I will not be keeping this. The e.l.f. Camo correctors. I also did a video on these when they came out. I also have the peach one. These, I know a lot of people said these were really good. I totally disagree. I found these to be very difficult to work with, very difficult to blend. Like that blended fine on my hand. But I have also used this tried to blend it out and it kind of sticks in certain areas and doesn't want to blend. It also is very sheer. Like this compared to this one, like you can see how much more pigment you get here than you get here. So yeah, I would not recommend these, and I will probably not even keep the peach one, although I know someone's gonna ask. So that's it. Also, the peach, again, is too dark. I wish they would have made a shade down from this, like one that's more pink. I don't know. I was not a fan of these at all. I have this, which I love, the Milani Supercharged Under Eye Brightening Tint. This is literally like a correcting eye cream. This one is in shade peach. They also have it in like a pink and an apricot color. This is great for just no makeup days. It's hydrating, beautiful under the eyes. Very, 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 very good product. Highly recommend. Trish McAvoy Instant Eye Lift. So this is, oh, I got some stuff on it. This is more of a brightener. It's a very, very light pinky color. This on its own would not work for me, but it does work over the top of a corrector or just like a peachier concealer. Great formula though, very nice and creamy. Looks really good under the eyes. I really like this. Okay. These Milani Conceal and Perfect Under Eye Brighteners. Okay. These, they're all right, but again, these are brighteners. If you have significant discoloration under your eyes, this is not going to do, it's not going to do much for you. They're extremely sheer, like extremely sheer. They almost blend away. The other one from Milani, the supercharged one, is much, much better. And then this pinky color one in rose. I have things similar to this that I like the formula more. So I'm going to get rid of that. These are not, a lot of things I've seen are calling these color correctors. They're not. They're just going to brighten under your eyes if you don't have much discoloration. That's not really my thing, so I'm going to get rid of those. This is a favorite. I feel like, or not mine, but a lot of people love this LA Girl Pro Conceal in peach. This is okay. I've never like fallen in love with it, but I always like to keep it just because people ask about it a lot. So that's it there. I'm going to keep this one for video purposes, but I don't know. First of all, I wish, again, this color is a bit too orange. I wish they would make it with just a little bit more pink in it. It's like they go either way too light and way too pink, or they go too orangey. They need a mix of both colors, pink and peach, pink and orange. Anyway, I'm kind of a color corrector snob. And then these are not, one of these is not technically a color corrector, but the Jones Road pencils, the face pencils, the shade 6 is a peachy shade that you can definitely use for color correction. I got sent these in PR, so I played around with them a few times. They're okay. They give very little coverage. They're kind of a like waxier formula, but you can make them work. It just kind of depends on if a pencil type product like this is something you can see yourself using. This one is more like skin tone. This is shade number 7. I'm going to keep them because I've been kind of playing around with them, but I got sent those in PR. And that is it for correctors.